That would work. She absorbs Alice's orb, prevents her from running. I think that is one of the biggest counters that we saw versus Alice. Way, but that is such a great way to start the game. But another good way to start the game is to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is 1 minute into the game between Team Flash versus Almighty. Game number 3, which is the one and who is the team that will actually go down for good and pack their bag? Is it gonna be AMT, which has suffered 2 deaths in a row? Or is it gonna be Team Flash, which somehow finds a way to lose even after such a great start?
Oh, okay, I see why they picked Lolita, because of Brody.
I mean, technically no, since they picked the Lolita first before Brody picked.
Oh, so the Brody is just walking into a shield.
Yeah, technically. I mean, there's really nothing else that you can do from that point in time. When you see a Lolita, you shouldn't be too dismissive about your marksman's potential just because of the Lolita being able to bring up a shield. The main thing that we should be looking out for is Lolita's Numenon Hammer, which is the more important stuff. If whacked up in a wombo combo together with Camilla's Links, as well as the painful damage that Bush is able to deal across the board, it is going to be indeed very terrifying.
Yeah, Numenon Blast is gonna be such a wide AoE, the whole team could potentially be stunned.
CDIC is doing a pretty good job when it comes to ensuring that Bush stays alive. And it makes sense why they would want to have Lolita to constantly be the babysitter because of his passive, constantly being able to give Bush a good amount of shields. But in the meantime, Aeon jumps right in, barreling right onto CDIC, brings him down almost immediately. Bush gets himself away with just a sliver of health while Pokemon is dead as well. Bryson comes in around the space, gets himself with Rashu Umbrella, flee away from A1A2's real world manipulation.
Wow, and I've got to say, Almighty look a little bit shaky, a little bit scrappy here, you know. Flash taking a little bit of a lead against Almighty, but you know, Almighty, we need to understand why they can play this strat, right? We need to see why they pick this. Why did they draft this? There must be a reason. I still can't find it.
I can't find it as well. I would love to get a little bit more insight, and at least not much from what I can remember when it comes to watching the other regions play as well. Unfortunately, nothing comes up to mind. We gotta have to watch out with what Almighty is actually doing for their side. But in the meantime, all we can do is theorycraft. I will only think of Camilla's presence as a form of stronger burst, which complements Bush or QDIC. Actually, in fact, Camilla blends in as long as he gets the chain links down together.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
technically, she will amplify everyone's damage all across the
Oh,
board.
Numenon Blast!
Numenon
Numenon Blast!
Bam! Right across the board. Immediately brings 3-person down. As you can pretty much see, Guy has used his ultimate. Numenon Blast ultimate is down. Bush has no longer have his ultimate. In fact, that is literally a game of ultimate.
Ouch.
Almighty won that.
That hurt. That really hurt. Oh my god, my jaw is dropping right now, Abstract. If you can see, my jaw is dropped. It has dropped to the floor. That was such a good fight. Okay, so I finally understood it now. Abstract, I finally understood why did they drop Camilla, right? They want Camilla to tank because she's so tanky already, right? She can frontline, especially together with QDIC, and then Sky will just, chain link everybody. QDIC will layer that with Numenon's Blast.
And another Numenon Blast is available. He gets a nice stun down right on top of Aeon. The
Yep.
initiator from the side of Team Flash. While A1 A2's HP down low. Void Crystal up right in front of the Turtle's pit. Unfortunately, will not be able to do anything onto the side of Almighty. As Fenrir throws out the Abyssal Arrow, only managed to hit onto the Lethal Wanderer. And the Turtle will now be slayed by Sky.
Sky doing a really, really good job here as your jungler, and not to mention a Camilla. He's doing really, really well right now. I mean, okay, I can't say the same for Flash too. I have to say the same for Flash because both of them are really at a stalemate. That Brody is going to be so painful in the late game. But you have 2 frontliners. What are you going to do about it? Oh, sorry, 3 frontliners. Alpha V9, QDIC along with Sky. There's 3 thick boys standing in front.
So we shall see how that's going to work out. In the meantime, Team Flash is just going to go straight in for a jump down onto Ryzen while he was a little bit too out of the way. Camilla's approaching a little bit closer over to Savannah, but unfortunately, they wouldn't really notice Savannah's inside of the brush until now. As Sky is still tanking up really well. Tosses one. Oh! Numenon Blast lands right on top of Fenrir while they are still under the turret's nose. Pokemon tries to get himself away, but unfortunately wasn't able to do quite much, as Bush does have quite a lot of movement speed and attack speed that will be piling up right on top of Pokemon, allowing Almighty to have a pretty dominant push down onto the bottom lane. But unfortunately, A1 A2 appears right around the corner, pops up with the real world manipulation until the QDIC went straight for a little hammer toss down onto A1 A2.
That was such a crazy play. QDIC charged the Numenon's Blast in the bush and then flickered right in front in the face of Pokemon. Oh my god, insane. That was just too good.
The Radiant Armor picking up by QDIC.
Oh, miss.
Fight is gonna be a little bit harder for the side of Team Flash. Zara joins in the fray. He does have flowing blood activated, but unfortunately, I wouldn't be expecting too much coming in from him as he's just lowering down in his pool. We do have the Numenon Blast whipped down. Not gonna do much, but one thing for sure, he did bring Fenrir down, and AMT has reclaimed the first tier turret in the bottom lane once again, and they have even probably got the turtle for themselves.
4-man wipe from Almighty. What a turn of the tide slash table. That was crazy. That Numenon Blast did so much, but what we can't see was the chain links from Sky. It did so much to help the team, and Bush just melts everybody. Ryzen comes in with the Yin Yang overturn. Alpha V9 provides the peels, the CCs, the spin, a little bit of damage here and there, but overall, Almighty, really good draft. I really love it.
This is kind of the case whereby Almighty, all they gotta do is just huddle together and ensure that they are able to win in all-out fights.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like an all-out kind of combo. But for the side of Team Flash, they don't really have any fun skill when it comes to split pushing, so they have to fight neck and neck and literally in the opponent's face by doing technically safe things.
I mean, the only person who can split push is potentially only Pokemon. or even, you know, Aeon.
Well, technically, yeah. I'll see that as well, right? They're really
The catch.
they can do to
Aeon.
right now. Aeon goes down to the hands of Ryzen. The real manipulation, unable to do much. Take a look at the massive amount of damage, or rather, the opposite, the little amount of damage.
He's tickling.
On QDIC.
He's just tickling his QDIC a little bit by, you know, maybe his Achilles heel, maybe just, you know, near his waist. But that was an insane catch by Almighty, catching onto Aeon, and it looks like Dara is gonna get catch. He's gonna flicker into the black line. But no way. A1 into getting the NOD right now. Dara on the edge of it and is gonna get caught out by Bush. Bush on a roll right now.
It's tough, right? Almighty, they have a little bit too much things to work for them. Even if Team Flash try to dissipate themselves, the Curse of Blood is one thing that Sky is able to work with. One person within the Curse of Blood gets done, the rest gets done. So, to be honest, they have such a wide range of control when it comes to QDIC's Numenon Blast. As long as he lands on one person, everyone else just gets nicked on. Anyone that gets hit by the Falling Summon gets nicked on.
Goodbye.
Anyone that gets hit by Bush's Blazing Duet is just going to melt. And if all three of them gets hit together,
Goodbye.
The Blazing Duet, yeah, that's technically
It's a goodbye.
Yep.
It's instantly gone.
So there's a lot of gluing potential from Almighty. They can do either ways. Whichever works will work out for them. If it's controls that work out for them, Bush goes in. If it's damage that comes out for them, then controls comes next. So it's very interchangeable. They can do what they want, and you don't need a lot of conditions in order to unlock the potential of Curse of Blood, which makes things a lot simple and is very basic to get that initiated.
That's true. And Almighty, they have the opportunity to just dissemblate at any given moment in time. They just have to get in, get out, finish the job. Nice and clean execution from Almighty is going to be good. It's going to be great. Almighty is having a humongous lead. Not a humongous, but a huge lead onto Flash right now. So they need to capitalize on this. And Bush even picking up a Purify along with Alpha V92 just in case they got caught by, you know, Fenris Abyssal Arrow or even A1A2 stun Pokemon or you know, even get out of the Imperial Justice. Oh, die, front lining,
Doesn't
gets
matter.
caught.
I believe that he still have yet to use Curse of Blood right now.
Oh!
Focusing down with the Numenon Blast right on top of Pokemon. Sky has actually used the Curse of Blood right now, so it didn't really seem to have spread out onto anyone else, but hey, the main thing is that they did manage to bring Pokemon down, which is one of the most important things, because now Flash has to defend the base from Almighty, while the Lord tramples down from the top lane. The main bulk of damage from Almighty is moving on from middle lane.
They're moving in.
Is now available as well. Aeon picks up the Radiant Armor, but is it really going to be enough? As Aeon just going to be jumping down on the Bush, unfortunately was not able to connect. Still shot down. Bush moves right back. The inhibitor turret in middle lane, almost going down. Top lane with a good chunk left, but still chipped.
Oh, they're jumping in.
Shot. Aeon goes down. Sky, Curse of Blood, lands. Sky, his HP down low, but it doesn't seem to matter for him at all. Dara with the truncheon, just gonna be popping right out.
Oh,
By blood, flowing blood, but it wasn't able to do quite much from that point onwards. Dara flickers in front of QDIC. He's still trying to connect whatever that he can and try to bring QDIC down, but it didn't seem to be the case. But in the end, AMT still came up on top of it all, while they had got the top lane and middle lane taken down.
I mean, Bush, taking out Bush and Sky is so important. Flash himself knows that these two are almost mainly the glue also to the team, because, you know, Almighty, they need this Bush, they need the Sky, they need the damage coming up from both person at all times. So this, you know, it was a little bit disheveled, you know, just a little bit here and there, or, you know, maybe, you know, Almighty was just a little bit of, you know, kalang kabo, you know, just not focused on the fight. They were just off their formation. So Almighty, they need to pick it back up. They need to get a good catch. They managed to catch Pokemon, but at what cost? You're going to lose Bush and Sky. And they even get the shutdown goal.
The Rose Gold Meteor is going to be bought by Bush, with a little bit of tanks and damage being built down on Bush. With the shields incoming, it's going to be pretty darn scary. And I believe that Almighty, they should be expecting to see Bush become a lot more aggressive. as the rose gold meteor is going to allow him to literally dive onto the enemy's lines and not to be too afraid. As long as the Curse of Blood lands, that is Bush's entry grounds. The condition for him to unlock and to use his Blazing Duet is not high at all.
Nope.
Because as long as the single Curse of Blood has reached someone and it spreads out, all you gotta do is land on someone. Anyone else other than that is just a generic bonus. In the end, Curse of Blood will only land on three people, so we shall see how that's gonna be working out. Unfortunately, he's got one down. Numenon Blast lands on 2, but Dara and Fenrir still stay alive. Pokemon inside, not gonna be sniped out by the Flame Shot just yet, but OAMT gets 1 down. Flash also have 1 down. In the end, the Lord is coming back out in 10 seconds, but Flash doesn't really have Aeon to come back in and use the Retribution.
I mean, Almighty too, they don't have the Retribution too, so they can't fight this.
Oh, do know.
But they have Bush.
Alpha V9, they don't have what they want.
Oh, they don't have the Purify. Oh, that's going to be dangerous.
They have a lot of tech chasers available.
That's true.
So this upcoming fight, Almighty may lose. Just from the battle spells.
Oh, they can't choke this.
Yeah, they are kind of on a back foot already, but you need to also consider that Almighty is on a 5,000 gold lead. It may go somewhere, but it really entirely depends on Flash's execution and how they work this out.
Alright, Aeon is up, Sky is up. It could be a big fight here. Sky standing all the way in the front line, but Alpha V9 all the way on the flank. He's gonna be able to catch Pokemon. Numenon Blast. Pure Justice comes down.
To the IC with only half HP left. He's still alive though, it doesn't really quite matter. Bush gets himself right out. Thank you, Daxter. While Dara still have quite a lot of health left because of flowing blood. He moves on. Unfortunately, Blood Ode not going to be touching to the IC. Moving on at the same time. Sky's just going to be following up on Aeons. While Rise at his HP is all the way down to his sliver of health. He regroups with the rest of his team. All of the members coming for AMT. They are still alive. A1, A2. The only one that is not dead, but he doesn't even have.
They're going for the GG.
And he doesn't even have the real world manipulation. He's unable to manipulate the members of AMT. And the Numenon Blast will be what it shows for AMT's victory. The scream echoes around the studio as Almighty takes this game against Flash and throws Flash back home.
Look at Almighty, all smiles on their face. They look at the sigh of relief. They're like, oh my Lord, we finally did it. They really fought hard, right? They fought hard yesterday. They're going to fight even harder today, especially if you're going to go up against veterans. Almighty, bringing mighty power.
Can you imagine this? MPL Singapore Season 2. We are starting to see teams getting out in a way that we wouldn't have expected. We've got Kingsman as well as Flash being taken out on the second bout of the lower brackets. Who would have imagined that?
Youch. It's a straight up youch. So Almighty, you know, okay, Flash, they had the start. They got the first blood. And then Almighty suddenly just like, no. Let me show you how it's done. Right? Almighty just chokes them, you know, takes it back hard, punch them in the face, and it is a GG.
I gotta have to say, Team Flash, they did well. They have went so far, but in the end,
it doesn't even matter.
I wanted to say that.
Okay, fine. I'm so sorry I spoiled it.
No, I wanted to say that, but in the end, it still kind of mattered to a certain extent. It showed where they went. They tried their hardest in the regular seasons, but alas, when it comes to the playoffs, where it really mattered, they couldn't pick up the act against Almighty despite a great game one. And in fact, that game one was a very convincing one. So having a reverse sweep done upon onto Flash is definitely not something that we were expecting from Almighty. Their change in pace, getting a Baxia onto the jungle, and then getting a Camilla into the jungle must have been a big blow over to Team Flash.
Yeah, so unorthodox pick is the way to win.
It's just better. It's not unorthodox.
I mean, to some people
okay,
who
at
are
least
stuck
for
in the past.
you, yeah. Okay. For those people that are winded up in the past, you know, just like jungle tank,
Jungle Tank, Jungle Bomb,
unacceptable.
or Jungle Bakito. No, nobody's going to go there anymore. But Almighty shows that it is still possible. So you do not forget, just dare to dream.
Dare to dream, guys. Congratulations over to AMT. Massive damage all across the board. And just like that, we've got Claude with 60,000 damage dealt. And all of the awards coming in from Rich Guy, the Carry, Sandbag, and the Forgotten One, all rewards over to Almighty's lineup. And with that said, the MVP would very likely go over to Claude. Or maybe it could be Sky that is playing on the Camilla. Who do you have?
It's going to be Sky.
Sky on the Camilla. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So decent, right?
Oh. Okay.
Right.
All right.
The tank prevails.
Global 3 tank. Here I come. I want to be a tank main. I'm going to get MVP tank.
QDIC, boy oh boy, my man. 3 kills, 1 death, 13 assists. I gotta have to say that 4 mage comp from the side of Team Flash just did not work out, especially since the opponent's tank can just roll over you as long as he's got the magical resistance.
Yeah, all you need is Radiant Armor, Athena Shield. Not only that, you can even top it off with an Oracle, just to,
Indeed.
cherry on top.
Yep.
Even more magic defense.
Yep, but Lolita doesn't really need that, unfortunately. So working out with whatever it is gonna be GG. Well played.
Whew, today was great games. Almighty with the comeback, Explorer with the comeback. Oh my god, it's just... Whew, I'm gonna sleep well tonight for sure. Unlike yesterday night, because yesterday was like, 2-0, it's good. But there was fight. But this time, there was a very good fight. There was amazing placement from QDIC. It was precise, it was surprising, it's flashy. No pun intended.
Speaking of flashy, I believe that the highlights will tell us a little bit more about how flashy it is. As AMT started off this highlight, 3 minutes 50 seconds into the game.
Numenor.
And of course, from this point in time, it is going to be the main thing that happens. As I believe very well that we've got 4 ultimates unavailable. You know what, I can just do this. 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 ultimates unavailable, all being executed just in this very condensed spot. They are all chain linked in by, of course, the most important thing, the Curse of Blood. It stacks up together with the with Kagura's ultimate. I believe that is going to be one thing. We are going to be looking at literally every single thing being tossed right now, and this is the clear indication as to how they started winning. How Almighty started winning.
That was crazy insane, and this was the one he's charging up. Look at this, he's charging up and he just wham.
Wow,
kapow, from the bush, unexpectedly. So there's no way that you have no vision in a bush, no pun intended, and you can't see it coming at all.
As now Sky pops up the Curse of Blood, you can see those strings between Pokemon as well as Fenrir, but unfortunately they walked right out of it and ensured that they are no longer tethered. Now with Curse of Blood being absent, all they gotta do is just bring on all of the ultimate one after another. As we move on to the next fight in here, I do not see the strings of the Curse of Blood. It's really difficult to see when they are all just mashed in together.
They're all clumped up together. So this was the turn from Flash. Dara made a very strong individual play there with that Alice going in, flashing over. So it's just flickering over. Oh, this was the good one. This was the good one. Imperial Justice comes down.
Yeah.
Minon Blast comes down too.
And notice how the members of Almighty, they are mostly just moving away with not much damage dealt. Because they do have a decent amount of regeneration on their own end. They do know how they can get themselves, well, technically alive. The massive amount of shields that is available for them, especially when it comes to QDIC's passive shields, is going to help them absorb a good amount of points of damage. And from that point on, most of the magical damage, or rather, because of the defensive capabilities when it comes to magical resistance, the shields are more than enough to absorb a large chunk of damage. A large chunk. Chonkus.
Like me.
Yep. Big mega chonkus at that point in time. So, I'm really interested to find out what Almighty has got to say. I'm pretty sure that their heads are now filled with euphoria and just extremely excited to tell us more about their experience against Team Flash. So without further ado, let us move on to In the Winner's Seat together with Lysander.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to In the Winner's Seat, presented to you by Secret Lab. Here with the winner's interview with none other than the coach, the guy behind the magical formulas to put Flash into the ground. A valiant effort by Flash. You know, they suffered pretty hard yesterday. Coming back into this, they won Game 1, but unfortunately were not able to close Game 2 and 3, similar to Kingsman. We will have some lower bracket, supremacy. I'm here with Pacifist, the coach of Almighty, and here to share me a little bit more insights about what went through your head watching those games. Game 1, what happened?
So for Game 1, we drafted as per normal. We did our normal plan. We did 1-2-2. But their priority on Bruno pick really caused off guard. And we didn't really respond to the Bruno pick well. So what happened was in Game 2 onwards, we just adjusted. We just banned out the Bruno because we discussed and we didn't really find a good answer to the Bruno.
Okay.
Yeah.
So stem the bleeding. We'll think about it later. Now, so what changed in Game 2? Was the big change? Why was it such a reversal? It was a complete shutdown in game number 2, 19-3. What changed there?
The Bruno was a really big part in Flash win in game 1. Because we didn't really find good picks to really match Bruno's early power. And if Bruno gets a hit, we don't really have a way to deal with it. So, yeah. And I can't say what we know works against Bruno, but yeah.
Okay, yep, hide no strats. Game 3. I think that was really fun. I love seeing new heroes come into the pool, and they were 2 new heroes, were Lolita and Camila, both picked. Lolita, I think that was genius. I think being able to absorb the Alice orb prevents her from really exploiting her mobility a lot. In the fights, you can also block Selena arrows. She was, Selena's always been very hit or miss, and by the way, you have one more extra, hindrance, like a shield. It's kind of tough to play the game. What inspired that kind of pick?
So originally, we did this in scrims where we would pick Lolita into really high range, high ground setups. And then we realized the Lolita is not only good for that. The Lolita is really good to negate a lot of early pressure and own self set up ganks really well. So for Lolita, we just blinded in on the 4th pick and it worked out well.
Okay. And what about a Camila pick? What do you guys get inspired by Explorer? Dora ran it once in the regular season.
No, the Camila pick is more of Sky is a crazy guy. He just tests out everything in rank. If it works, he will let me know, and then I'll look at it and we'll decide if it's good or not. Okay. Yeah. The reason we went Camila there was we counted the number of heroes he had available left. It was Aulus, Sylvana. Sylvana they took it. So yeah. Then I just looked at Camila. I was like, "You wanna go this?" He said, "Yeah." Then it worked out.
Sky is a crazy guy. I like that.
Yeah.
There's a nice ring to it, and he tries out a lot of things in rank. Can we expect more for tonight's match versus Explorer?
How
do you think?
I can't say. Sorry.
How do you guys think you'll do? I mean, do you expect Explorer to take
Explorer is a good team, but we have a plan lined up for them. We know what kind of picks they like to rely on. Yeah, we know what to do.
Okay. Yeah. So you expected to face them today, or were you expecting Kingsman?
Actually, I was expecting Kingsman. I was hoping for a bit of a revenge match, but yeah. Okay. Nothing against Kingsman, but they were my own team.
Okay, fair enough. And now that this second round of lower bracket is done, what do you think is going to happen? Evil's RSG, something a little bit further away from you guys for now.
Mm-hmm.
Who's taking this one in the upper bracket? It might be a finals preview, if anything. So, expert opinion. What will differentiate these 2 teams?
I feel RSG has a really high chance of winning against Evils.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any reason?
RSG, they play more together well. Yeah, their fundamentals are really strong. For Evils, they're a bit shaky, but I can see them pulling out a winner. I can still see them winning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it going to be 2-0 or 2-1?
2-1 RSG win.
Okay. Fair enough. And I bet the RSG interns will love that answer. Now, you guys got an hour break. Oh, no, not an hour, but 2 hours of break before that final series versus Explorer.
to move into top 3, that is just wild to me. I think no one would have expected either of these two teams, either you or Explorer, to make it into top 3. It's such a big deal for all these newcomer teams and these new faces. I think it speaks good things about our esports landscape, especially with a lot of the older names retiring. Any last words for your organization, your friends, your family? Any shout outs you want to give? You can roast too if you want.
Not really, but thanks for everyone who's been supporting me, and to all the doubters, I'm still here.
All right, to all the doubters, he's still here, and let's see if they're still here at the end of tonight when they face Explorer in their final knockout match before top 3 awaits them. But for now, we are going to go back to the casters where we will be setting up that best of 3 between EVOS as well as RSG. It's El Clasico time. Don't go anywhere.
And thank you so much, Lysander, as well as the beautiful game coming in from the side of Almighty. Great insights, I gotta have to say, and we pretty much understood exactly what they were thinking, especially how Bruno is being played out from the side of Team Flash. But unfortunately, we're not gonna see that anymore from Pokemon. Man, the entirety of playoff, Pokemon is unable to Harris. So honestly, it gotta have to hurt. I gotta look out for my boy right there. It's kind of ouch. Yeah, it's kind of disheartening. But unfortunately, well, someone's gotta go, and Team Flash is going to be the one that has to leave before heading on to the next part of the bracket to fight for the top 3. But let's take a look at the schedules, as we are just gonna be giving a quick rundown as to what to expect up
No
next.
one expected this at all, right?
Technically, yes, but one thing that we can expect is EVOS versus RSG coming up next, happening at 5 p.m., which is actually 5:30 now, so
Joke's on you.
but it will be coming up soon after a maybe around 15 minutes break, and then after that series, we'll be looking at Explorer versus Almighty. And that is where things are starting to get a little bit hot and spicy. Remember how Explorer was hoping that they will be able to fight Flash because things are going to be more interesting, per se?
Yeah, I mean, they like to go, underdogs love to go up against big teams because, they can pull out the strat and, big teams will be shaken. Haha, okay. It's a good attempt, right? It's a good attempt. But EVOS, RSG. I can never answer this. I can never answer this question. EVOS, RSG, it's just I don't know.
It's
Envy.
okay. But it's really tough, right? I really would love to stick around to find out more about that game, but unfortunately,
We have to go home.
Vertigo and I, yes, we have to knock off. And we will be passing on the microphone over to Selfridge Miss as well as Aris to kind of grind down and just tell us a little bit more about that series. So they have got a great end of the day. So make sure you guys stick around and don't go anywhere, because the MPL Singapore Season 2 has technically just begun. Take care.
Monster kill. Double kill. Monster kill. Double kill.
Somehow, most have come to believe that the right to dream is reserved for a chosen few. Dare to be different. We know that being unique can be lonely, repetitive, and painful, but rewarding. Define yourself with your beliefs. Demand determination to be the only constant. Elevate yourself with passion and accelerate the next few feats. Don't let others tell you that you can dream. Fuel your own belief to dream. H2O. Dare to dream.
falls upon you. Yield, you specks of dust!
Mega kill. Godlike. Shut down. Monster kill. Double kill. Monster kill. Double kill.
Epos, the power of audio. The spirit of the mountains calls upon you.
Killing spree.
The power of the mountains.
Legendary.
Still of dust.
Mega kill. Godlike. Shut down. Monster kill. Double kill. Monster kill. Double kill.
The spirit of the mountains calls upon you.
Killing spree.
The power of the mountains. Yield, you specks of dust.
Mega kill. Godlike. Shut down. Monster kill. Double kill. Monster kill. Double kill.
Imagine waking up to a world where you can do more at once. With data speeds that are 10 times as fast. This is the connectivity that 5G delivers. Tomorrow begins here. Experience ultra-fast 5G with Singtel.
The spirit of the mountains calls upon you.
Killing spree.
The power of the mountains. Yield, you specks of dust!
Mega kill. Onslaught. Shut down. Monster kill. Double kill. Monster kill. Double kill.
The spirit of the mountains calls upon you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to MPL S2 Playoffs. We are now down to El Clasico, upper brackets. Evos SG versus RSG. I'm Lysander. I'm joined here by Eris as well as Sophia. They are going to be taking over from the previous batch of casters. Go let them rest a little bit. 2 best of 3 series that went all the way, 2 reverse sweeps in a row. That's gonna tucker them out a little bit. So we're gonna give them a little rest, have you guys on board to cast El Clasico as well as the Explorer Almighty rematch, which is going to be pretty exciting for us. How are you guys feeling today?
Feeling pretty good, amazing games yesterday. Pretty straightforward, mostly 2-0. Today, slightly more exciting. A little bit unfortunate that we had to send a couple of team homes, but this is what the playoffs is about, the highs and the lows.
Yes.
Well, we sent home Justin's predictions. He was raving about Flash, and I feel so good to prove him wrong, but I feel so sad to send Flash home because we all know that Team Flash is really a strong team, and we had a lot of hopes on them, but unfortunately, Almighty, they stood the test of time and they beat Flash.
I had a lot of hopes on them.
I mean, you were filming videos in their jersey and everything. Yeah, you were being a full-on sellout. And then earlier on, I see you walk in with an Evo's jersey. So who's really got your support, huh?
I would just to defend myself, I support both teams, honestly, right? And that's why I've been long-time supporters of Evos with Flash coming back into the MPL scene. They were one of my favorites. I know some of the players have tried really hard. They had a very short time to form before the qualifiers. So looking at how they've progressed so far, a lot of teams counted them out. A lot of viewers actually thought that they were the so-called veteran house, per se. But I think their performances coming into the MPL, and especially making it this far into the MPL playoffs, goes to show that you can't disrespect them. That being said, now with Almighty knocking them out in lower brackets, we might have another dark horse that we have to look out for.
We got two of them, and they'll be in the final series today. But before we get into that, I just want to bring your attention to a couple of messages from the people that helped make MPL S2 happen. Of course, starting off with Singtel 5G, unlock ultra-responsive gaming with 2 times lower latency on Singtel's 5G, Singapore's most powerful 5G network. All right, and of course, it comes with their Singtel Fiber Broadband Bundle. All right, so this one you want to listen up. Level up your gaming experience with our 1 GB per second Wi-Fi 6 gaming bundle at $56.90 a month. Usual price is $68.90, so if you get it now, it's a better deal. Unlock faster speeds with the ASUS RTAX86U Wi-Fi 6 gaming router that provides an ultra-fast and stable gaming network. Plus, this entire thing comes with a $70 off your latest Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022 series. With every sign up of the Singtel Fiber plan. So, if you want to sign up now, it's the best time to upgrade to 5G and also get a good discount on one of these babies that we're sitting on. Not to forget, please log into your Mobile Legends game. If you have not, collect your free skin. 5th anniversary, 5 years of Mobile Legends. That's how much time we've spent in this game.
Yeah, it's been quite a while coming, and just to celebrate that, Moonton actually released the Mia Rister's Moon, so you can actually get that as well as if I'm not wrong, it's actually MLBB's very first anniversary skin. Looks really good. You can get it for free if you just complete some of the tasks in game. Looks really nice as well, and who better to have that skin other than Mia?
Yeah, next up, Buffer. Buffer a lot.
Well, I think she deserves a bit of a recognition. I think she is viable, but you need to play her in a very strategic way. She needs a lot of farm, kind of like most MMs. But enough about Mia. There's also the Tamus Abyss of Reaper that's available in the in-game store. It's the special version, so do look out for that. Really cool, especially when you use the Cordoran Inferno. He glows in this purple flame. So he looks really swagged out. And last but not least, you can also check out the new hero, which is actually Florin. You can also log in. If you actually had logged in October 2nd, there was free heroes, but now that that's over, you can still get Florin, even though the event is already over. Florin's still available in the store. You can check her out. I guarantee you she's going to be meta. Not sure whether she's going to be available in M3. Unfortunately, she isn't available in MPL Season 2. So hopefully we'll see some teams pop out when she is allowed to play.
M3 is still far away, so probably would have a new hero by then, but Florin is definitely going to be playable at M3. But speaking of M3, I think one of these two teams would very likely be representing Singapore at M3, EVOS versus RSG. Just want to get a quick reminder, there is a very high chance, well, not a very high chance, actually, in fact, the winner of MPL SG will represent Singapore. There's a very high chance we get a second spot as well if we are the host city. Rumors, we don't know if that's going to happen, but also the second place team also has a chance at wildcards. So top 2 teams of MPL SG have something to gain on the world stage, and the prize money has gone up a lot this season. That's what I understand. So a lot more on the line, and a lot more bragging rights until Season 3 at least.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely that ongoing El Clasico thing that everyone likes to brand it. It's not exactly a grudge match because a lot of the players know one another, but there is that bit of a reputation and bragging right at stake.
It's the revenge for the 0-3 finals last season. This season, they gotta hit Evos with the 0-4.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Well, maybe we should ask selfish miss for her opinion. Who do you think is going to win this upper brackets?
Well, I'm always has been an EVOS fan, and you know, I think that EVOS still has what it takes. But RSG is looking really strong this season. They bring in Baby Case and 505, and so far the performance has been really good. So I mean, I think last week, the 2 weeks ago, RSG actually beat EVOS. It was the first time I think ever in 2 years that RSG finally beat EVOS. So I think that coming in today's match, EVOS, I think they have what it takes to win, but we shall see, you know. I mean, drafting, anything can go into drafting. We don't know what cheese picks RSG is going to come out with, so I'm super excited. Yesterday we saw Lilia, which Lysander, you know, I was watching the casting, Lysander was like, he was not in favor of Lilia, but I think that Lilia pick itself, the burst damage from Lilia, pulled it off. Will we see 50 Pi play that Lilia again today?
I think what's really scary about some of these young players is that they have a really huge hero pool. Every player does have a comfort pick, but you know, with these young players coming in,
play a lot of rank.
Yeah, they're very feisty. You know, they dare to bring unconventional heroes or heroes that are not deemed meta into the games, and this is what makes them tough to play against, because you never know what they might pick up, especially in the drafting.
I mean, yes, just last series we saw Lolita as well as Camila. Some new things into the fold, which makes it a lot more interesting to watch. Because the same few heroes being picked is frustrating for me, because I like to see new stuff. Well, anyway, moving on to the next part, we gotta tell you that you can stand a chance to win goodies every time you watch the match. If you're just joining us and if you're missing out, well, here's the time to listen up, all right? First Blood is very important in every match because it's when you can start spamming in chat for your favorite team, whether they're winning or losing. So for you guys, we want you to also predict who is going to win First Blood. Simply watch the live stream on the MPL Singapore page, comment Legends Are Born with the hashtag on live stream, and predict which team will get the First Blood. This series, I'm leaning more to RSG scoring First Blood, but yesterday when I said that, Evo's got all the First Bloods. So I don't really want to make any more prediction advice. What about you guys? I'll throw you guys under the bus and put you in the hot seat. Who is getting First Blood?
I'm with RSG on this one. I think Lozi is definitely a lot more aggressive as compared to JPL. Not to say that one is a better thing than the other, it's just the different play styles. Lozi being younger as well, does have that, you know, hot-blooded running through his veins. So we might see most probably RSG pick up that First Blood.
JPL is a First Blood D, right?
And that as well. As well. It's like everything is pointing.
But I said that yesterday, he scored First Blood twice, just to piss me off. Just to do that. So, Sophia, we haven't heard from you. Who is getting First Blood?
Well, again, I think that I feel that EVOS, after the really bad week, you know, before playoffs, they really got very serious. And I'm thinking that, you know, I think that RSG will get a First Blood because I don't think that EVOS will make any mistakes anymore coming in. And this is a very important match for them.
No more mistakes from RSG. That's a pretty bold claim.
Yeah, because I feel that whoever wins this round, they're going to the finals, right? And they're sitting in the finals to wait for whoever is going to come next. So this match is very important because whoever drops goes down to the lower bracket and have to fight their way all the way back up again. So I feel that this is going to be a very important match, and both teams definitely, you know, have to play at their best.
Absolutely. I mean, after seeing what happened to the two teams sent into the lower bracket today, I don't think any team wants to play in that lower bracket. Explorer and Almighty, they are piranhas, all right, in this lower bracket. They just chewed up Kingsman and Flash and spit them out. Just a bunch of bones at this point. And yeah, it's looking pretty scary. If I was EVOS or RSG, I would try and keep my feet off the lava down below. But no, with that said, we do have the upcoming face-to-face, the head-to-head video that we're prepared for you guys, and we're going to dive into that player select that we like so much. EVOS versus RSG, ladies and gentlemen.
I would prefer facing RSG because I got many friends there. Maybe they're hiding stuff up their sleeve. I want to have a fun match, a serious match with them.
Last Insanity from Potato secures one as well. Now Forza is fighting but look at that edge to the back line. Gear has been super quiet. Kill.
Definitely we'll spend more time preparing strategies, studying their gameplay, their game style. I hope that we'll be more prepared compared to the previous time.
Coming all over again here. Jason is right in front. He wants that Jason again. Look at that holy healing. Selena secures one and Joy hit. And life for secures one. Oh, and the Elder goes down. That's huge. So no more holy blessing.
All right, yeah, we have quite a series ahead of us. It's going to be very difficult to call. RSG has been more consistent. I think that's what I understand from a lot of people saying. Most consistent team. The only series they dropped to in the regular season was Flash, and a lot of people have said that they weren't even taking that one seriously. We'll leave it up to them to decide. But EVOS, they have been a very powerful team in terms of resilience, right? They have been able to resist early game setbacks and just bounce back from those things. I think that's one of EVO's strong points, the captains and the old-timers being able to bring their players back from early game deficit. Against Kingsman, they lost the early game twice, still won the game. And looking at the lineups here, it looks like we won't have any changes. Diablo not playing once again, the poor boy sitting on the bench. We'll see if there's going to be a change in between the matches. But for now, no crazy things. You guys see anything out of the ordinary?
Nope. Not really. I think I would have hoped to see Diablo at least play once.
You know what? I think that if RSG drops to the lower bracket, the last match, I think they will let Diablo play. Because it's going to be, either they win or they lose. So I feel that the last match they will let Diablo play. But for now, I think that they are going to stick to their roster, which is a kind of really a good composition for them, right? The team. So it's going to be Lozy, they're going to have LI4, Jason, who played impeccable yesterday with the Bane. Did you see the damage from the Bane?
Yeah, I think the Bane was something that a lot of people didn't expect to get pulled out. Not the most surprising, but the way that they use the Bane, especially with the Mage build, it just provides so much burst with its ultimate. And it's
also zone control.
Yeah, it's very hard to play into him because, you put the Esmeralda in his face, he just drops the ultimate, he pushes the entire team away. You also have to worry about your backline getting caught out. There's just so much that he offers in terms of shoving objectives, and this is what makes it scary to play against Jason because he has an insane hero pool. It shows Farsa there, but he can play almost any mage in the game.
He's been playing this game for an unhealthy amount of time. That is what I got away from this. LY4 though, he has been really padding his kill reel.
Well, it's LY4. We all knew what was coming, right? LY4 is that kind of hyper carry. You leave him alone for 6 minutes. He comes out popping with 2 items, and that's when the game starts to carry. And I think this is why RG is so stable. Look at that first blood. 13 is compared to EVOS.
That is prediction advice. You can blame the stats man if it goes wrong. But also, RSG die a lot less compared to EVOS. That is a good sign of a strong, I would say, discipline. You don't lose as many lives when you take fights. It really boils down to that. When you lose too many members on your team, it does mean that you take a little scrappier fights. So, Sophia, what do you think? These stats mean anything to you? Or
oh my, so close.
Well,
you believe more in emotion?
Well, I think that this season, RSG coming in, they really meant business.
Okay.
Right? It really shows that they really want to be the champion. But what is standing in their way is EVOS SG. They are the only opponent, I think, in fact, for them that they feel that is a threat. And I think Jason said in the interviews before, he still finds that EVOS is one of the stronger team. And he also said in the interview that Adamir coming in with Sayla as well as Gear also looks very strong for the Flash Blood. So lane predictions coming in here, nothing surprising for me. LF4 is going to play into the mid lane itself, same for Potato. But what I would be expecting is, will they ban 505 Selena? Because that's Selena. The stats on 505 Selena has been impeccable. In fact, every time he played a Selena, it was 100% win rate onto his Selena. I feel that it was one of the better Selena players coming into this MPL. Impeccable play on his Abyssal Arrows.
Yeah, I think the lanes might get swapped up a little bit. Lozy most likely going to be playing tank role, Jason in the goal lane, 505 obviously being the mage. Other than that, most of it seems pretty stoked out. I think both tanks, they put them on the opposite side, but they most likely be playing in the tank role.
I want to go back to your point on Selena, Sophia. So Sophia has seen a bit of play today. Some of it has been good, some of it has been disastrous. What do you think about first picking Selena and opening your draft, telegraphing it to the opponent? Are you in favor of that, or do you think that Selena should be saved as a last pick surprise kind of thing?
Well, I think that so far what RSG is doing is that each time they open up the Selena, they grab it as their first pick, and that is because 505, he plays so well onto the Selena, and he, like I say, I feel that is one of the best Selena players in this MPL with his Selena. So I think
Better
that
than Swole?
Yeah, if EVOS open up Selena, I'm pretty sure that RSG will pick up the Selena.
Yeah, it fits really well into the way RSG likes to play the game as well. Very aggressively, looking for pickoffs, and Selena is the embodiment of that strategy, right? You want to get the picks, you want to get the Abyssal Arrows landed on, give your goal lane a bit of that extra protection, and now with supports going in to more of a 1-1-2 role with the jungler, I think that's where Selena can shine, because it's one lane instead of the entire map. There's only so much room you can run. If you land the Abyssal Arrow, that marksman is dead.
All right, well, let's look at the Subway match history here. We have RSG and EVOS. Their match history in the regular season, it was a 2-1 in favor of RSG. And based on the trend, it has always gone the other way around in playoffs. So maybe EVOS, now they pull out some magic powder and they make RSG disappear. It's very possible. If we look over here, the 2-1 games are on Nathan in almost identical drafts. Benedetta on the side, Tigreal, and Nathan. Nathan has seen a lot of popularity. What do you guys think about the Death Ball strat coming in from Nathan? You like it? Yes? No?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very... At the core of it, Nathan is a very simple hero to play, right? Ideally, you want to use him to push objectives. That's why his ultimate is really good for. And you do a ton of damage, pushing down the lanes. You can rip through that go energy plating at the start of the game really quickly. So this is what teams like to play. They put the Nathan there, leave him alone, just get the support to make sure that he stays healthy. Whenever he needs to, he can pop that super position to just push opponents away. So there's a lot of things that Nathan can offer. Yes, he's not exactly the tankiest of marksmen, doesn't offer too much mobility as well. But at the core of it, Nathan, if you can protect him well, he is bound to be able to carry.
Okay, fair enough. We'll see if this Nathan strat does come back again. I do believe we'll see it at least once. But the main thing I've always had with Nathan strats is you got to stick on to that death ball formation. You cannot do what Explorer did in game 1, where they were very sloppy with their positioning and they got caught out by Kingsman at the end. So RSG and EVOS, they're disciplined teams. They're basically the most seasoned teams in MPL. Expect that kind of discipline from them. So if Nathan were to happen in this series, I expect a show.
Yeah, I would definitely expect as well. But if you haven't checked it out already, please do check out the H2O Instagram filter. That was a really cool thing that I discussed with Vertigo as well. I tried it out for myself last night. Didn't really get the one that I wanted, but hey.
I got Esmeralda, so I'm beautiful and I steal you. Anyway, draft is ready, so let's take a look and see what the captains are thinking. Jawhead going to be removed from the game. RSG say, you know what, displacement is really not in the cards for me. I don't want to get thrown around, and I want to take away Jawhead. So RSG
your team is banning.
Remove the machine and the little girl, and we have Fasa and Lunox.
Yeah, I think EVOS here, they really want to target ban Jason's Fasa. It's also the fact that RSG is on first pick,
your team
so
is
that kind of
banning.
just limits a lot of those bursty mages that RSG loves to play. We do see the Nathan that we talked a lot about coming on the first place banning on the side of EVOS as well. RSG, I feel like RSG is targeting bans, right? They ban away the Lunox, they ban away the Hayabusa, heroes that EVOS loves to play. So they're cornering EVOS to pick up their comfort picks. And if RSG has a good plan into those picks that I talked about, for example, the Granger, the Isun Shin, then EVOS could be in a tough position.
Granger from Potato is always going to be in the cards here, and now that he has skipped the first round of bans, it is very likely he gets Granger. Sophia, what do you
Your
think?
team is picking.
Well, I think that for the way RSG banned, right, they definitely do not want to beat JPL, his comfort hero, which was the Jawhead. Yesterday we saw Sailor playing impeccable onto that Lunox. So that is a respectable ban. But for RSG, the first pick itself is going to be the Eve. It seems like they don't want the Matilda. So far, every time I see RSG draft, right, they let the Matilda open. They don't want the Matilda. They purposely let the opponent pick up that Matilda. So let's see if EVOS will make the same decision as they did previously, giving JPL that Matilda as a tank.
Yeah, I actually do like the Matilda. I prefer the Matilda to Mage Role. I think I've said it on the stream many a times now. But you know, it's just the way the team likes to play. And JPL has shown in the regular season that EVOS loves to play, you know, that Matilda as a tank support. So I do agree with Sophia here. I think they most likely might just want to pick up the Matilda. But with the Paquito being licked, it looks like they also want to deny RSG away from that bursty side lane.
I feel like Yuzhong was a definite response here. I'm surprised it took them that long to even snap pick it. Yuzhong is a very hard counter to Eve. Basically, once the Black Dragon's up, Eve will not be allowed to play the game. But you know, Kufra is going to be the response here for Lolzy and YSS for LY4. So we do see some comforts coming in for RSG. YSS always has been pretty good for LY4. He has done very well on the hyper roll for that one, and he doesn't even go to the goal lane. You know?
Yeah. I think the Kufra pick coming up for RSG is also very respectable. You know, you have a Paquito in your opponent's side. The bouncing ball will be able to stop him when he tries to do anything funny onto the backline. So I think it's more of RSG just making sure that they give LY4 a good game in case the Paquito wants to get him a gank. Now the question is, how would they respond to this Yuzhong pick? Because like Lysander mentioned, you know, Yuzhong is sort of a hard counter into the Eve where she tries to use the real world manipulation. The Black Dragon can stop that ultimate, so I think that is that balance that RSG needs to find. EVOS, interesting. It's 2 picks now that they pick just to counter against the Eve. Well, not specifically for the Eve, but Kagura is also another strong bursty mage. When he hits that level 4, she does the Ying overturn. Her burst potential is insane. And on top of it, she also has a lot of escape mechanisms in her kit.
She's a very good support in a sense. Not support like a healer, but she's able to set up fights. And she can scout with the umbrella as well, which is very good when Lolzy is looking to pick someone off with his Kufra. You'll be able to tech them out. Now the question is EVOS going to default to a MM? And is RSG going to run double marksman? I think one of the weaknesses of Yuzhong is getting focus fired while you're just slow rolling in a dragon form. You can be killed. I think that is something that a lot of people might neglect. It's like, oh, Black Dragon, time to run. But if you just say, okay, you want to come in, we are going to shoot you down, 2 marksmen could actually do that job.
Yeah, Yuzhong is just there to soak up the damage, you know, staying as long as possible, keeping Eve out of the fight. But like Lysander mentioned, once you are able to just focus him down, and if EVOS doesn't really back that Yuzhong up, then you could be in a lot of trouble. Now let's look at the ban, shall we? EVOS actually ban out the Benedetta and Balmond, given that they have a lot of mobility. If they ban away heroes that can do the same to them, and that includes cutting off waves, then RSG might face a bit of a trouble catching up to the fight. And in response, RSG are banning away heroes with even more mobility, right? One being the Grog, immune to CC with the Nature's gift when he stands, or Ancestral gift, when he stands close to the wall. They also ban away the Matilda that JPL loves to play in. So a lot of target bans towards JPL's hero pool.
Yeah, but they forgot that JPL plays the best Cho tank, right? And they let out that Cho. If JPL doesn't pick it up, I won't be disappointed because his Cho, impeccable, comes in, can use the Jikundo to target that Eve, even...
Yeah,
I am Megatron.
I think that's the Kufra there. So they're not really too afraid for the Cho. So I feel like, yes, there is the Cho, but RG is kind of daring. Yeah, that's what I was going to RG is
JPL
daring.
has played Glue before.
Yeah, they're daring EVOS to pick up the Cho. If he doesn't pick the Cho, then RG knows that he's picking a hero that he's not too comfortable on. He might be able to play that hero, but at least they take away the high priority picks that EVOS loves to play around. And this is smart drafting coming for RG.
Yeah, the coach on RSG, or the coach on EVOS has shown to be very, very good at reading the metas so far. He was previously on Explorer, and now he's on EVOS. Oh, yes! RSG lost! Okay, I don't care. I'm just going to keep on hating on Lilia. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Stats don't matter. It's all about emotions, all right? Ruby as well as Lilia going to be the final two picks for RSG. I feel like this is a spike pick. RSG know I hate this hero, but they still pick it anyway.
It fits really well into RSG's draft though. You look at the way that they play, they pick up the Ruby as the last pick. Heroes that can lock down the opponents, especially with the Kufa. If Lozi can find a good Tyrant's Revenge into the Tyrant's Rage, then that sets up for the Ruby. She can dive right in. There's the Lilia that can burst people up as well. They have the E. And on top of it, Yi Sun-shin to a certain extent, although he's a single target hero, the Mountain Shocker also provides a lot of that team fight potential. So RSG looking to just not exactly death ball, but more of just burst heroes up during the team fight.
But they're definitely light on the lockdown. So I think if Potato. Alright, good call there, Sophia. We do actually have a Cho coming up for JP.
I knew it. I mean, that Cho, he plays a really, really good Cho, and that is one of his best tank heroes. He's always making impeccable plays with the Way of the Dragon. I will be very disappointed if he don't pick up the Cho, especially when the opponent does not respect his Cho.
Yeah, very, very nice call there. I think Cho actually does play a big part. JPL has been peeling for Potato really, really well so far. Every single time a tank or an assassin tries to get on Potato, JPL is there to slide him out of the way. With Tigreal, you saw it there against Kingsman, making sure Forza never ever got close to catching out his marksman. So we will see if this legendary duo will be able to perform here against their arch nemesis. Arch nemesis?
Nemesis. Arch nemesis.
I don't know. Arch nemesis RSG. And it's gonna be a crazy match. Either way, I can't really say who's gonna take it based on the draft, but I'm gonna lean with Evils. I want to see how they can do this one. Over to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Lysander. Well, I gotta say I'm on the opposite out. I feel like, yes, JPL does have a very good show in him, but that Kufa worries me. Once he drops that bouncing ball, JPL will have a bit of a trouble finding, a good Way of the Dragon to get the entry point. So
well, I disagree. I don't feel that Lozi's Kufa is that good to make an impact to JPL's show. I mean, it's JPL, right? So I'm leaning towards EVOS. But it's gonna be the first match against RSG versus EVOS, a super exciting one. And immediately look at their Lilia bullying gear down into the bottom lane. There must be a reason why they pick up their Lilia onto the bottom lane against Paquito. And that's because Paquito is kind of you need to be close to do that knockout punch, and Lilia is one that is a further range. So it makes sense for them to pick Lilia onto the bottom lane.
Now this is what Jason has been doing all season, right? Playing that mage goal lane, bullying that opponent's side lane and making sure that EVOS doesn't have the time to use that side lane, especially on the Paquito, to rotate around the map. So good call coming from RSG. Meanwhile, we are seeing that standard lineup coming from RSG's side. Ruby fighting against the Yuzong. I think this is going to be a pretty tight lane. I don't think we'll see too many skirmishes up top, given that now that the meta is shifting a lot more focus into the goal side. So we might see more all action onto the bottom half.
Yeah, meanwhile, it's on the top lane, Adamir onto the Yuzong, trying to do a bit of damage onto Baby Cakes with the Ruby. Speaking of which, Yuzong versus Ruby, who do you think will dominate the lane?
Well, I think early game, Yuzong does have a slight advantage until Ruby gets that Husk Ball. That's where she can have the sustain and she can kind of just match toe-to-toe with the Yuzong, keep her distance, just use her range to poke the Yuzong out. So for the first 5 minutes, I think it's going to be a drawn match, but once Ruby gets those farm up, then Yuzong does have to be a little bit more aware of his position.
Speaking of which, Turtle being spawned up onto the top lane, and immediately Potato in action. The Lozi, he's in the bushes. He knows what's happening. I'm pretty sure that EVOS knows that Lozi tried to go in with the bouncing ball, but does not connect from it. Mountain Shocker comes down. Who will take the first? And it's going to be Potato taking onto the burst. The first blood. Lozi out of position will get paid the price. And EVOS, they get the first blood. They are serious this time. They are serious.
I just love it. It's going to spite Lysander so much. Every single time the stats prove him wrong, he's just gonna go against it. And as he walks away from the table, RSG now gonna call for a pause. Not too sure which player actually called for it, but either way, perfect start for EVOS. I think Lozi dived a little bit too deep there. RSG wasn't exactly ready for the fight, and he was in between enemy lines at that point in time. So not exactly Lozi's individual fault, but I think there might have been a bit of miscom there. He felt a bit overzealous. Yes, they did pull out the real world manipulation,
Yep.
but you can see they were far from comfortable from contesting for that turtle.
Yep, and I think that Losey can choose to camp into that bush itself. He misses, that one and he bounces in, gets the prize, and it was a good start for EVOS. Like I say, EVOS this time around, they are very serious. And I would love to see Lilia onto that bottom lane, how Jason playing on that Lilia is going to dominate Paquito. Because that was really set a kind of a new meta, right? Lilia, if you see you give opponent the Paquito, never mind, we take the Lilia.
Yeah, I think RSG-wise, they're pulling out a lot of this unconventional heroes to deal with what EVOS has been playing all along. If you look at it, EVOS, they haven't really changed their playstyle all season.
Yep.
Even from MPL Season 1, teams are starting to catch up to them now. They are still the favorites to win, and you can never count the defending champions out.
Yep, that's true. But I mean, this match itself, you can tell how intense it is. Immediately after the first blood, there's a break. And you know what? It always means to say that for me and you, it's going to be exciting matches. I mean, I feel so honored to be casting RSG versus EVOS, right? Because they are the best.
It's always nice.
Yeah, it's always nice.
Yeah, it's always between the two of them. A lot of people say MPL Singapore was kind of like a two-legged race. It's always RSG or EVOS. Hopefully, we might see something different, but that will come at the cost of one of the fan favorites going up.
Yeah, it will be one of the upsets, but it's also nice to see dark horses like Explorer as well as Almighty stepping it up. And let's not forget that two teams are kind of young teams. And it's nice to see the hope that young teams do beat out. You see, they beat out Flash, who is a team of veterans. They are supposed to be more experienced in their games. So it's nice to see that. But
Explorer kicking out Kingsman 2 was, I think, quite a bit of an upset, right? A lot of people thought that Kingsman would definitely go in as the favorites. But enough about the past matches. Let's focus back right in, 3 minutes in. Not too much between these two teams on the fact that EVOS did manage to get the first blood onto the Krufa and secure that turtle well. So if you were RSG, now that you lost the first blood, do you think that kind of provides a big lead for EVOS, or it's just, never mind, it's just first blood?
Well, I think that anything can happen, and for these two teams who are really, really, really good players, they know that all it takes is one good team fight to get back the goal, In fact, if RG wins the next fight, they win back the goal, but it's all about discipline. Look at it, JPL going with the way of the dragon, but his team members is too far away, but he's in. He goes in for 505, 505 with that shield itself. It's not going down, but JPL, he wants to get to 505, but no, the outplay coming in, JPL will die.
Both teams kind of losing their tank there. Not exactly the best value for both sides, but good recovery from RSG after we see JPL dive really deep for 545 on that Eve. Meanwhile, top lane, still nothing between these two teams. I think we're starting to see a little more rotations from the jungle, while putting a little pressure onto the bot lane. They pull out the Modern Shocker just to make sure that they don't get ganked from Gear, which, we keep talking about this Lilia and Paquito side. Obviously, Lilia is slightly leading ahead because she just sent Gear back home. What do you think is the next big power play that either of these teams can make?
Well, it all boils down I think for RSG's side, the best scenario is, of course, Jason. He managed to push out that lane early enough for that Lilia to rotate. Let's not forget that in the mid to late games, I feel that for RSG composition, having that Lilia into the mid to late games, I don't think that it will work really well. Having to say that EVOS, you look at their composition, they tend to scale better into the later games. They have a Yuzo, they have the Paquito. So with that said, the turtle coming down into the bottom lane, but Potato, he's in perfect timing, already going to take to on turtle, but Losey, he wants to go in for that Tyrant Ship. Will they get it? But no, real manipulation managed to be popped, but Adamir is going in with the Black Dragon. Sailor left with a Slither of Hell, but Baby Cakes still going in. He wants to kill off the Sailor, but over aggression, Sailor gets down. But meanwhile, you look at that, Adamir out of position.
Yeah, I would say that's a little bit more value for RSG after losing the turtle, but obviously EVOS coming up with both the objectives now in the bag for Potato, having a very decent game so far. 3 assists. Pretty sure that EVOS would have loved to give that kills over onto the Grandeur, but you take what you can get. And speaking about taking what you can get, both teams just managed to take the first tier towers on the opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, but the thing is that Potato, he's way away from his blue buff, and LY4 immediately sees JPL, managed to catch the wish of Dragon, but gets disconnected by Losey. Gil coming in with the knockout punch, and with that, Jason, he will get punished with that. Gil, meanwhile backing away from the shadow. The Ruby hook down coming in.
No.
Managed to get to Potato, Sailor, and another one out here. You have to go. You cannot be there.
Yeah, JPL is also really deep in the open side jungle. F505 sticking right on top of him. Not really letting the Void Crystal there. JPL will walk away a very happy throw, but obviously RG feeling pretty good about that. Looks like they might just want to go for the jump, aiming for gear, doesn't really land the mark, and he will get punished. The last hit coming in for the turret. I think that was a bit of a hasty decision, but if that actually landed onto gear, that would be a dead party.
Yep, I mean, but unfortunately he did not manage to land on it and go get paid the price. But this was the fight, the real manipulation comes in. But unfortunately, you look at Baby Cakes, the Ruby, the hook coming in to hook onto Potato, and with that Sailor tried to save onto Potato, but the yin yang overturn is not enough and he will get paid the price as well.
Absolutely. EVOS here not having a good follow-up after that early lead that they had on both turtles, but it is still 6 minutes in, so like Sophia likes to say, anything can happen. Gear just picked up his Bloodlust X, so that will provide a little bit more sustain on the side lane. He's kind of moved on to the top side now that he's lost the first tier. Yusong going to be on the bottom end. Ruby against the Paquito, not too much between them, but Paquito can indeed rotate faster, and that's what you see Evo doing. They're getting 5 men here. They're preparing for the next turtle fight.
Yes, and you can see immediately Gear, he's in position, he managed to clear onto the mid creep itself, but it seems like nobody wants to start onto that turtle. Another fight, Potato he doesn't want, and I think that they are going to start baiting onto that turtle slowly but surely. But Mountain Shocker comes in, spotting out the position of JPL and Adamir.
Yeah, it looks like EVOS does have the better positioning right now, but Lozi's presence is going to chase Potato away. That's going to reset the total. And looks like Arashi, they might be thinking about catching Gear out, but he uses the 1-2 punch, gets out of trouble. Lozi, that blind Timer's Revenge, catches right onto JPL, and now he's set on the run. Kindle, can he run far enough? He's getting the slowdown coming from Jason. 505 meets him there. LY4 is going to get the last poke in, and JPL down for the next 18 seconds. That's going to be the go ahead for Arashi to pick up the turtle, but looks like they smell blood. They spot Potato at the bottom. Can the rest of EVOS actually get him out of there? I think that's a big grandeur. And now Eddie Manor coming in a little bit too late. I feel like EVOS is committing too much here. The Black Dragon comes out, that should get him out of that sticky situation, but here, still sticking around, still trying to find a kill. He finds Lozi, and Baby Cakes down, trying to get the hook. The Imo Feather gets put out, and Jason, not enough slow. The Mountain Shocker to provide a little bit of support, but RSG, they will be feeling pretty happy now that they find Potato.
Yeah, Potato, he tried to clear onto that bottom lane, but unfortunately out of position. JPL was dead as well, so he doesn't have that time to kill for him, and with that, RG, they take the turtle.
Yeah, good rotation coming in for RG, right? First noticing that EVOS is going in for the turtle. You know, they send Lozi really deep into the pit that chases Potato away, and you know, from then on, RG had a very good control of that particular area, right? Zoning away the marksman, you know, and then spotting out the enemy was trying to dive in. They forced the Black Dragon a little bit too late. Potato was zoned out from the rest of his team as well. It's very unlike EVOS, right? To leave their marksman out in the open just like that.
And I think that every time JPL dies, you know, it's a cue for Potato not to step it out, but Lozi being such a nuisance, using the bouncing ball to try to steer Sailor away. Sailor, that Kagura, I mean, Kagura steals into the mid-game, so I would be waiting for Sailor onto the damage once he has his items. But meanwhile, you look at the bottom lane itself, Gear, he's on a roll, 3-0-2 onto that Paquito, and there's a reason why, you know, Paquito was constantly being banned up, and I think that Gear, he's playing excellent onto the Paquito slowly. I think that Jason or even onto 505 onto the Eve, it won't be a target to Gear for with a knockout.
Yeah, my eyes are actually on Lozi. Speaking of which, he actually jumps right into JPL. Lozi just pulling out all these blind Time's Revenge, and now Baby Cakes gonna take a little bit of poke from Gear, but not gonna commit too much. Both heroes are pretty sustainable, you know, they have their perks and merits, but at the end of the day, both fighters really depend on staying in the fight, taking damage, and more importantly, killing for their tanks.
Yep, JPL meanwhile, so aggressive onto the chill, constantly going into the bushes to open the map. Mountain Shocker will spot the position of EVOS. Lord is going to, the first Lord is going to spawn into the top lane, 18 seconds, and I think that although both teams are playing super safe, it will be one that they want to contest. But meanwhile, JPL just baiting, he's just going in baiting Lozi for the ultimate.
Yeah, well, Gear hurt a little bit of tough spot. I'm offended, but oh no, Lozi! Where did the rest of EVOS members come from? They pummel right onto him, and now they even want to go for Baby Cakes. But they spot the Lilia split pushing on the top side, and that's going to poke a reaction out of EVOS Ashy as they send their members towards the Lord Pit. Kagura will spawn up just now. Lozi down for 10 seconds. But we see a fight break out here. I got a feeling that RSG knows that something is up in that bush. Look at the back off here. Jason gets caught by the punch from here. The heavy jet taking a little damage. Just like that, he nearly goes down. But little black boots comes up in the nick of time, keeping Jason alive. Meanwhile, Potato already starting on the low, but he's taking one too many hits from it. It's really down to half. He will have to back off.
Well, that's the reason why he actually bait out onto Lilia, and now he knows that Lilia doesn't have the black shield, and with that, will get onto Lilia. Jason is out for the next 20 seconds, but he was going in, will malicious and pop, but Adamir, he's looking for that.
He tries to go in for the backcourt. Oh, Lozy! 3-man knockout. He gets them all against the wall, but Evils do not care. They pick him off one by one, and it's a 3-for-1 trade. Evils edgy.
Well, that's the reason why they first picked that Yuzong, and it was to deal with the Eve. And with that Evos, they capitalized onto the mistakes of RSG. They are in a good position now. They have the map control essentially.
Yeah, look at Lilia. She gets instantly bursted up. Wolsey tries to pull the ultimate off, gets knocked up. That disrupts it, so he still has it. And now Edimir using the big back dragon to just push 505 out of position. Baby Kicks at the back line, trying to zone the rest away. But no, without the Lilia, they don't have the burst damage, and that's what their combo is all about. It's about bursting up heroes after Lozy catches them. So you can definitely see a weak point in RSG's draft, and Jason, he has to play very carefully now. Now that he's target bot for Evo's members, he needs to be way more careful about his position.
Yup, and here, man oh man, in the previous fight, he bait out onto Jason's black shoes, and he knows that the next time Lilia comes in to join the fight, she doesn't have his black shoes, and that's where they bully. But Baby Cakes go in with the I'm offended, did not manage to hook on anybody, wasted for that. I think that cooldown itself is about 20 seconds, so that's where Evos that can capitalize. Ruby doesn't have his hook. What are they going to do in the meantime?
Yeah, I think the scary portion about Evos is that they need to rely on those huge ultimates to make things work, right? The Way of the Dragon, the Death Sonata, just to blow people up, the Ying overturn, and more importantly, Adamir on that Yuto. He needs to have the ultimate to stop the real world manipulation of Firefly. Whereas for RSG, they have a little bit more sustain, right? Ruby, and you got Lilia, they don't really need the ultimate to output the same amount of damage, but they're squishy. They have sustain, but
yeah, like I say, I feel that RSG draft, they are very squishy. If the Lilia doesn't own the game in the first half of the game itself, as we go into the later games, I think Rizzo and Patito will bully, but it seems that JPL out of position, but that's not enough. But Izong goes into the backline, they will knock out onto Lozy. Lozy left with a slither of health, but who is going down? It is going to be Kagura that gets on two. Lozy.
And Adamir will get punished for that, but the job is done, and here comes Baby Cake. He's trying to grab out of the Potato, perfect positioning, but he has to back off. It is a 4v3. They do send Baby Cakes back, but here comes the Melting Shocker. It's got to spot here onto the lower half of the map. RSG, do they make the big brain plays to go for the Lord?
Well, I mean, if they start on the Lord JPL 2 seconds back, but they spot out onto 505, and with that, it's going to be a wasted Lord. LY4, he cannot go for the Lord now that they lose 505.
The Yin Yang overturn, that is the burst damage potential coming up from Kagura, and RSG playing a bit over-considered there, didn't expect it, and now Jason once again getting poked up by here, but LY4 sticking right onto that Potato, and that's going to be one more hit for him to go down. Meanwhile, RSG having a little bit of trouble with their own, JP out into the backline, but it's fine. Baby Kicks right on top of that Lilia, and now they get the stun onto Adamir as well. The hook comes in, they have the ultimate, so they pop it off. He pops out just in time, but it's no matter, they still manage to secure that kill. And now with Evos' gear and Adamir down, RSG are feeling confident they're going to secure this one.
Well, LY4, man oh man, he goes in for kills whenever he has the chance to 407 onto the Eastern Sheet. Very stable onto the Eastern Sheet, and with that, RSG, they get the first Lord. I mean, unfortunately for Adamir, he doesn't have the Black Dragon. If not, I think he would have been able to escape from that knockout coming in from those.
This is the Death Sonata coming up from Potato, kind of like a desperate attempt to just clear up the waves as much as possible. Baby Kid's gonna soak all that up. First to tower in the mid, going down, obviously not something that Evos can defend. I think they will pretty much secure all the outer turrets. And if they sync up the wave pretty well, RG might even be able to take one tier 3.
Well, with Lord crashing down onto that top lane, it means that Evos, they are forced back into their bases. They have to at least bait out on Ruby onto that. I'm offended. But you look at Ruby, she has the flicker who she can go for that to hook up. But real mode permutation has been top. It seems that all they want to do is to crack open the top lane, and they manage to do so.
Oh no, Adamir, she jumps right the back line. Kagura pulls out and from nowhere, LY4 going down, but RNG bite back. They got Adamir, they got JPL, they're jumping around to the bouncing ball, will stop JPL from using the Chikuna against all trouble. It's all down to Gil. Sailor dropping to half HP. But there is still the Lord crashing down to the wave. One more hit should do the trick. One more smash, and RSG picks up the first game.
What a match coming in! They lost to Rachel, and Gil and Sailor were forced to defend the lane, and the minions just practically ended the game for RSG.
Yeah, I think RSG, they are a team that cannot be underestimated. There's the reason why, even if you have so many exciting matches in the regular season and playoffs, this is why this is the match to watch. This is the El Clasico. RSG, despite having a bit of a tough early game, they gave away first blood, they gave away 2 turtles, but they trusted in the draft. Jason, yes, making a bit of misplays, a bit of mispositioning there, but once they got their act up together, you see the focus. The moment Lozzy jumps right to someone, uses the bouncing ball, prevents people from escaping away, they burst them up instantly.
Yep, and I think that LY4 this time around as the marksman, he was playing, his position was so good. You know, he was only caught out once by Kagura, but I mean the minions were already crashing in and the minions practically ended the game for them.
Yeah, I told you. Okay, no disrespect to JPL's Cho. I think his Cho is really good. Yeah. But you also have to respect the pick on that Krufra. When you have a Krufra, that forces the Cho to be a little bit more concerned with his positioning. His Chikundo, yes, can stop 505's ultimate. But once he's in a tough spot and the bouncing ball gets popped off, you're going to have to count on your team to rescue you. And that's what we see JPL doing most of the time. You know, onto the back line, not really being able to get a good way of the dragon off. I think, you know, RSG, they feel very comfortable fighting against JPL's Cho, and I think we're going to see a very similar draft come out in Game 2.
Well, look at RSG versus EVOS in terms of itemization, anything out of the ordinary for you. I mean, Gear, I feel that his Paquito really made an impact in the first half of the game. Unfortunately, he was caught by LY4 in that lot fight itself, and Adamir, he was caught by Ruby, and he doesn't have his Black Dragon to actually escape. And with that, you know, that fight, that 2 fight that EVOS actually lost, helped RSG to gain back the momentum.
Yeah, EVOS stats here looking very decent early game, but RSG, they take the majority of the stats in their favor. I would say down to the 6 to 10 minute mark, it was still very even. At one point in time, it was 6 kills aside, even though EVOS did manage to get 2 turtles, but the net worth, not too much between them, only 2k.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very unexpected end for me. I wasn't expecting the minions to end the game, but with that, you know, it was GG to RSG. Relies on the mistakes of EVOS so well in the last 2 fights itself.
Yeah, I felt like EVOS had a rush defense there. They didn't necessarily need to die for a team fight because they just sat back, you know, try to clear off the turtle. They do have quite a bit of a wave clear in some sense because you have the Grandeur, you know, you got a Death Sonata, you can clear waves pretty decently. But I would say, for one thing, for most part, if you look at their heroes, right, EVOS, they have a lot of single target focus, right? You got the Paquito, you have the Cho, you have the Grandeur, and Kagura and Yuzong does provide a bit of that AoE damage. When you compare that to RSG, I feel like RSG does have a better team fight composition. And that's what I think EVOS failed to realize. They have a better team fight composition. You're fighting into a lineup that has a lot of burst potential, a lot of CC, a lot of catch available. And yeah, EVOS just got punished for it.
And you look at the damage coming in. LY4, he's very, very, very comfortable on the.
He wasn't even touched at all.
Yeah, they weren't even able to touch onto LY4 because his positioning was so good. And with that majority of the damage there, look at him, 80k damage onto that Yishun Shin.
I think EVOS was focusing a lot on the leader. Do you think that if they actually went on to focus a little bit more on LY4, this would have been an easier game for them?
Well, but I think that LY4, he knows his position so well, right? And I think for EVOS, it was 2 sloppy fights for them that cost them the game. And I think that the one which I felt that was most detrimental to me was the fact that Adamir, he was caught out by Ruby as well as Kufra, and he already popped his Black Dragon. And that fight, if he had his Black Dragon, I feel that he will be able to reverse sweep the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see if that actually happens. But we still have an MVP. Who in your heart is the MVP for Game 1?
I mean, definitely LY4. I mean, you look at him, he's very patient onto his Isujin, and whenever he goes in, he goes for kills that he knows that he can get. He got onto gear without, any of his team members, because his team members were so focused on other fights, and I think that he deserves the MVP, and as a core itself, very stable for this match.
Yeah, like we said, LY4 had the smoothest of games. I don't even think he died a single time.
He died once only at the ending of the game to
correct,
Gakura.
Correct. And, even if he died there, the game was already over.
Yeah, I mean, the minions already pushing. Minions.
There was a lot as well.
Yep.
So is it Lonians? Okay, I'm not going to go down that abstract route. Right. That being said, I think RSG definitely proved that they are a team that has to be feared. Now they got a 1-0 up onto EVOS. What do you think EVOS can do in the second game to come back?
I mean, it really depends on the draft, But, LY4, he deserves this MVP, impeccable onto the core role itself, only getting caught once 4-1-8 onto that. Look at his items, nothing out of the ordinary. He was so fat at that point that he doesn't even build defense, right? The last item, I think, then finally he was building defense because he was constantly so good on his position, not being caught out by even with the Yuzong, Cho, Paquito. Nobody can touch him.
Yeah, pretty straightforward build right here. Even as the BOD, the one of the more luxurious item that any carry can get to use for. I think in terms of the way LY4 has played all season, we all know LY4's play. I said before the game 1, as long as you give him a good early game, let him farm his items up. Once he gets 3 to 4 slotted, he comes up, he owns that game, and that's what we saw coming up for him. I think he would have hoped to get more kills, but still respectable stats across the board for him.
Yep, and I agree with you. I feel that if for the team of EVOS, if Paquito as well as JPL or even Aramir focuses on LY4 a bit more, I feel that, that might change, right? Because essentially, if you think about Yuzong, it's really one of the most feared marksman fighter because Yuzong comes in with the Black Dragon, you have Cho with the Way of the Dragon, you have Paquito as well with Knockout Punch, right?
Yeah, and speaking about Unstoppable, do remember check out Sustain. Really thankful for them. They gave us the Unstoppable kit. I was hoping that actually, you know what? Let's bring that the box later on for game.
Yeah, I'll do an unboxing for you because I have that box.
Yeah. We did a little bit of a segue for Vertigo on the Instagram as well, so do check them out. Thank you so much. They threw in a couple of PvP bugs, PvP stuff, goodies bags in there, but most importantly, the box looks super dope. I'm not sure if it's commercially available, so I'm just gonna use it as bragging rights if I do get the news that it's not. But thank you very much, Sustain. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible as well. And I also want to give a big shout out to Subway.
Yeah, I saw someone eating Subway just now without me. He was just happily hiding in a corner eating his Subway, and then at the end, finally, he was like, "Oh, do you want the cookie?" I mean, out of like kind gesture, right? Finally offering me the cookie after he feels like he's quite full already.
Yeah, that's what you do, right? You take the main meat out of Subway and then you just give the cookie away.
Yeah, half of the cookie. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow, okay, I know who that person is already. Okay.
Yeah, somebody offered me half cookie after he's finally full. He's like, "Oh, you want a cookie?" Credit
to that person, okay? I think at least he offered that cookie.
Yeah, it would be nice if you offer me the Subway as well, you know.
Yeah, that person. Yeah. So such an ungrateful person. All right, with that being said, I think we do have a couple of highlights interested to see.
I want to go back to the match because I want to see what went wrong or what went right for RSG. What happened?
I felt like it came down to the Kufa. Lozzy, even though you've seen him a ton of times, the catch potential from Kufa is still impeccable. You look at this, first team fight, nothing much you shout out about. Potato kind of zone away from the fight. Baby Kicks is just being in the back line, being annoying. I think here, this a little bit too greedy, not really necessary for Baby Kicks to dive in, and RSG just coping their losses there by jumping onto Ademir. And now, this is a very interesting fight, because if you look at where the heroes are, I think initially you would think that EVOS has a better initiation because JPL's on the back line, but he's already dropped so low. So there's absolutely no way that he can kind of go in 505 if he wants to. He can just target this entire area, right? You got this area that's empty, and RSG completely controlling this lane. EVOS, on the other hand, controlling onto the side. And you can definitely tell that RSG want to zone away JPL. They don't want JPL to be jumping onto the back line, to be causing trouble, to be causing havoc, catching people with the Way of the Dragon. And this is where RSG can go. Eventually, we will see RSG go towards here, with 505 running towards the Cho. But if he really wants to, and if EVOS does commit to a fight, he can just come in and drop the real world manipulation, and that would still be a fight war for RSG.
Yeah, but he already burn out his real world manipulation, so he doesn't have that for that fight.
Yeah, so very, very interesting stuff. I think for RSG, they have a very decent fight there. You know, you see the real world manipulation does pop out. Eventually, Potato getting caught out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was the Ruby hook.
Concentration, I would say, for Potato. Very, very un-Potato-like, because generally you would see him very confident here. I think RSG,
This
from
was
then
the
on,
fight that they won. RSG won, right? They caught out on Jason, and then even though there was the real world manipulation, but Adamir comes into the back line, they managed to kick onto the side of Kufra. Potato in good position, catch on to the Ruby, and catch on to Lucy as well.
yeah, so it's really about the game plan here coming for RSG. So eventually, now we see LY4 taking gear, and
It was a solo target. You
Yes.
look at the team, they were so focused on other fights, and LY4, he saw an opening to get onto gear when he was slow, and he managed to get a solo kill onto gear.
I think this is where RSG needs to decide how they want to take the fight, because they still have Lozy and Baby Cakes that's available. Jason in a very tight spot, the entire control in Evo's favor, and this is something that I want to point out. Jason, as strong as he is as a mage player, I think this game, because he had a target on his back, the entire map, look at that! Every single hero is walking towards him, right? You have Sayla coming in here, Potato coming in, LY4, yes, he's at the top, but Jason's already down to half HP. The rest of RSG is trying to rescue that Lilia. If we continue this game, I think we eventually do see that Jason goes down, and the moment Jason goes down, they can't really continue the fight. Well, Jason does have his little back shoes there, and Baby Kicks coming in, gets the hook in, constantly locks down Adamir, and without the Black Dragon, there's really nothing he can do. He pops out at the very final end, but by then the end is too late. And this is where the defining moment is for me. I think this Adamir doesn't need to go in. They could have just cleared the lot.
Be patient, right?
Yes, and because Adamir chooses to go in, now you got Potato and Sayla that's very far away from the fight. Baby Kicks is keeping the entirety of Evos' backline here. If they go in, he pulls the off I'm offended out, locks them down, and that's a very bad fight for Evos. So the only two heroes that can ideally commit to this fight is Adamir and Gear. But look at that. RSG members are just all over here. Okay, I've got a really bad clear with that, but you can definitely tell that RSG has the entire control of here. If Adamir goes in, he's dead. I felt like there was absolutely no need for Evos to commit to that fight, because they were all in very bad position. I spoke about the line that Baby Kicks was doing, and I felt like if they actually wanted to, Adamir could have popped out the out, but it was more just to threaten them, just to move RSG away, right, and then come back to protect on there. Look at the rest of the lanes, right? You have the waves coming in from the mid lane, if the waves coming in from the bot, Lord is at the top, and if we actually continue this clip, eventually we see Adamir goes down. Once Adamir goes down, RG knows it's done. We've won the fight. There is nothing that can stop the unstoppable force, or rather not unstoppable force, but nothing that can stop. Once again, good wombo coming up from both the Ruby and the Krufa, and from then on, RG, all they need to do is pick them off one by one, and let the minions do their work.
Yep, and you forget the burst damage coming for Lilia. Look at how fast Lilia was bursting down members of EVOS. And Lysana, I'm sorry, but you know, Lilia, RSG picked it twice, and they won it twice.
That is a very good stat for RSG, regardless to say, whatever the ultimate winning rate is, the fact that RSG now has won Lilia twice, that could be something that, if EVOS is not too comfortable fighting into Jason's Lilia, they might just have to take it out.
Yep, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting going to the second match to see how EVOS, RSG, they're one game away to go into the finals. And that would be really, really, really detrimental for EVOS having to drop down to the lower bracket. So it all boils down to the next draft, how they're going to prioritize the heroes. And I feel like now that they see that, hey, we give the Paquito, it's okay, we have the Lilia. I feel that, like you say, maybe if EVOS wants to pick up the Paquito again, they might want to bet on to the Lilia.
And the fact that you drop down means you need to play one more best of 3. You might not necessarily win that. And then tomorrow you still have to go up against the lower bracket finals.
Yeah, which is, we know that it's Explorer as well as Almighty. But later we're going to have a match with Explorer in it, so I mean, it's going to be really tough. I mean, who wants to drop down to the lower bracket? It's so tough.
Well, RSG did. Season 1, they were like, you know what, let's just go lower brackets and easy clap everyone there.
I don't think it's easy. They can say that it's easy. I mean, it's not easy,
But they certainly did make it look very easy. They 2-0'd almost every single one in lower bracket.
That's true, but that is the beauty of that, you know, once you make it, you know, all the way from lower brackets, you'll be like, hey, you know what, lower brackets is easy, but guys, only RG can do it, okay? So it's very, very stressful in the lower bracket.
Well, this season they're looking to do completely different. They've got the advantage over EVOS. We're going to have a little bit of a break, but when we are back, it's going to be game 2 in the El Clasico, RG SG against EVOS SG.
We'll be right back.
Yield, you specks of dust!
Somehow, most have come to believe that the right to dream is reserved for a chosen few. Dare to be different. We know that being unique can be lonely, repetitive, and painful, but rewarding. Define yourself with your beliefs. Demand determination to be the only constant. Elevate yourself with passion and accelerate the next few feats. Don't let others dream. Fuel your own belief to dream. H2O. Dare to dream.
The spirit of the mountains calls upon you. The power of the mountains. Yield, you specks of dust!
Monster kill!
Hey guys, welcome back to MPL SG Season 2's playoffs. We are here with RSG SG versus EVOS SG. And I'm Lysander, this is of course Aries as well as Sophia. And we're going to be bringing you your English analysis of the draft before we hop into the game. This is of course game number 2. Draft is already on the way. RSG are 1 game of EVOS, 1 down. After what seemed like a very ineffective draft coming out from them, JPL just seemed pretty lost, like you mentioned, countered by that Kufra pick. Well, he actually picked into the counter, so he must have felt really confident, and well, this just shows that it didn't work out, and of course, something that I don't like to see, Lily winning a game. So, yeah, I heard that, Sophia, in your last analysis. But, credit where it's due, RSG seemed to be the only one able to win on it.
Yeah, once again, RSG banning away the concept.
Your team is banning.
Booster again, the Jawhead. You can tell they feel very comfortable with the draft right now. All they have to do is ban away the comfort picks of EVOS and then play into that Cho, play against that Grandeur. And I think EVOS now, they need to pull something different. If not, it's going to be the same result in game 1. And, that would mean that they will drop into the lower brackets.
Yeah. And I think that the way that I see RSG, right, nobody on RSG wants to play the Matilda because they constantly open the Matilda. They tried to bait EVOS to take their Matilda, but EVOS decided, no, we won't take it. And I'm pretty sure for RSG, right, they won't take that Matilda. And with that, they open the Matilda, but first pick is going to go for that Yuzong. Again, EVOS, this time round, going to stick to their guns, going to pick up that Yuzong.
Yeah, preemptive Yuzong coming out here would basically shut down... I mean, I'm not really sure why they would pick Yuzong so early. Because Eve and Fasa are already banned, and that's his 2 bigger hard counters. That's the 2 heroes he hard counters the most. So it does open up YSS for LY4 and Jason. He felt super comfortable on YSS last game. So LY4, he's going to go back on that again. Paquito will be picked up by RSG this time. I think he did decent last game.
Yeah, I mean, he only got caught out once, but LY4 was a solo kill. Up onto the top lane in the previous match, but this time round, RSG taking that Paquito. Previously, they allowed EVOS to take the Paquito, and because they have a counter, Lilia, right?
Yeah, I actually do like the Kufra, to be honest.
There you
go. I think if EVOS pick up the Kufra, it's a very good counter into both the Isun Shin and Paquito, heroes that work with the mobility, and it's a hero that JPL plays very decently.
Your
so I think
is
EVOS
banning.
Here, RSG, they worked well with the Lilia in the previous game, and they're just gonna run with it.
Well, I think that Lilia itself, now that they have a Paquito, I'm super curious to see whether they will now use Lilia into the mid lane, or they will still choose to allow Lilia as an off-laner.
Yeah, RSG taking away heroes now that can dive onto the back line. That includes the Alice. EVOS, they have a couple of options on board. I feel like if they want to, they can actually just focus on banning away heroes that can support the Lilia, AoE damage. And now that both Farsa and the Eve have been banned out, Kagura could be an option that 505 can play on. He also plays a pretty decent Sicilon that's also open right now.
Your team is banning.
The Lilia's not going to be playing in that mid lane. He's going to be playing the gold lane. Jason has been doing it all season. So I feel like now they need to focus on banning away heroes that can perform for RSG in the mid.
What about Assassin for EVOS? Are we thinking something like maybe a Ling?
I don't think
Saber?
I don't think that Predator will play the Link. He took the Link in his previous match against RSG, got completely wrecked by LY4 onto the Nathan, and I think that this time round they are 1 game away from losing. He won't bring out the Assassin Link, not in this match in my opinion.
Yeah, EVOS here, they have a level of concerns for RSG's lineup, and RSG is banning away even more of what EVOS can play. The Kimi, we haven't really seen EVOS play Kimi too much. But
1 game.
Yeah, there was only 1 game, and I think it was actually played by
Adamir.
That's right. So they just want to remove heroes, comfort picks. We don't really care what EVOS plays, right? We don't really care what EVOS wants to play. We just ban away the comfort heroes, put them in an uncomfortable situation, and make sure that this bursty combo of us works out. They did it in game 1 with the Lilia and the Isun Shin. We're going to do the same thing all over again.
Well, I think that potentially RSG maybe we'll see a Belmont, because we know that Baby Cakes, he played a really good Belmont in, I think, one of the previous matches, but it seems that they're coming up with Tigreal.
Some anti-initiation. I think JPL played Tigreal against Yuzong himself the other day, and it was very strong in just shoving the Yuzhong from focusing your marksman. Tigreal is very good at peeling, so natural choice here, and also it's kind of very team fight heavy, something that Lolzy does enjoy. Again, goes back to Evo's draft. They have 2 more picks, 1 for Potato and 1 more flex pick. Are we thinking magic damage? Is Matilda all the magic damage you want to bank on? Do you want to add more into the mix, or are we thinking like a fighter or assassin?
Now with Nathan getting banned out, I feel like EVOS has very little carries left available for Potato.
Xbox.
Either the Bruno, the Xbox, it's also available, but I don't think EVOS will gamble for that. They might just go for either the Bruno, or they might go for the Link. It's either of these
Your
two.
team is picking.
Well, it seems that
Nice
you
call.
are right, and Xbox is also picked up by Evo, so
Alright.
it looks like Potato is gonna play. Do you know that Bruno is one of Potato's best?
Yeah, I actually prefer to see Potato go into the goal lane. I know it's not gonna happen, but I feel like what really works for them here is if Bruno goes into the goal lane, babysitted by the Matilda or the Kufra, either one would do, and then use the Xbox as a jungler.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a lot more tanky.
It could be jungle, and then Adamir plays Bruno, right? Because Adamir is a marksman player from Almighty in the past, so this could be a flex arrangement. Xbox Hyper, we'll see. I think what really concerns me is Evo's lack of magic damage, so it's very easy to build against them. Matilda is not exactly the burstiest of mages. Not many large AoE, so good calls all around here from the casters. Of course, Ballman going to get picked up by RSG to fill up the draft. They have nice frontliners, and they have quite a bit of wave clear as lanes, and in team fights just going to be spinning around and causing trouble. So very light on the magic damage for Evos. RSG, they have Lilia, who will be able to put out a bit more damage, but I'm trying to see how Yuzhong fits into all this right now. But with all the fighters on RSG, it might actually work out.
Yeah,
and it's Gear going to be playing at this time.
And it does look like Adamir will be playing that Bruno. He's going to be going to that goal lane. Potato's going to be playing that Hyper Xbox. I do like this a lot better compared to the game 1.
Okay, very, very cool. Now, I assume you guys are going to go for Evos on this, just for the game 3?
Well, we always love a game 3. That's what all our casters hope for. Maybe not so much for some of the production crew, but it is always nice to see a game 3, especially between these two teams.
I mean, you can't break the feng shui now, right? At this point, you gotta keep to the 2-1. We got to have an equalizer from Evos to pair out the day. Otherwise, RSG is going to be another combo breaker. Yesterday, they combo broke a little bit. They put their 2-0 on the wrong side. Yeah, so...
I think in terms of lane matchup, Yuzhong looks pretty decent here. He's most likely going to be going up against the Balmond. And Yuzhong does perform he performs really well against the Balmond, especially in opening game before Balmond gets the lifesteal in. If Balmond wants to use the Cyclone Sweep onto the heroes, all Yuzhong has to do is just...
he's very good at 1v1s. Now, it matters if RSG will gank him. I think... but Gear plays a little different from Adamir. Adamir is more like a farming kind of core, but Gear's pretty aggressive from last game's Paquito. It might have a change of play style for the Yuzhong, and now he has a lot more frontliners with him as well. Kufra, we got Export. So we'll see how this one plays out. I'm excited to see Adamir back on marksman. That is one thing that I think it's a real twist in Evo's strategy. Before this, it's always Potato holding the guns. Now it's...
I think you have to adapt with the times, right? The meta coming in, we see the resurgence of, no pun intended, Almighty performing really well, especially towards the ending of the regular season, and now coming into the playoffs, they look very strong with this strategy that they're playing with. I think other teams have to recognize the fact that, okay, we can't ignore the meta anymore. We have to play that marksman into the goal lane. Marksman jungle, yes, still decent, but there is that weak link that we have to be worried about because opponents are starting to play these Karinas, they're starting to play the tank junglers like the Baxias, heroes that do well against the marksman, and you never want a tank or a fight.